All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to AIMBOT. Thank you all for stopping by. Tonight is a really interesting night. It's a little bit of a takeoff on what you'd consider like traditional FPSs. There's a lot of simulator games out there, and I like playing them. And a lot of them are first person, so they count as first person shooters. All right, a couple announcements before we get started. GDQ 2023 online will be January 8th through the 15th. The games list for the first submission period is out. I helped make some of those picks because I'm on the games committee. It was great. There's a lot of good things this year that I'm really looking forward to. The second submission period for games released after September 1st is November 6th through the 12th, and visit gamesdonequick.com for more info. And this weekend, we have the GDQ HotFix on Saturday, a marathon of speedruns featuring foxes, and we have the Pokemon 3rd Gen... We have the Pokemon Gen 3 20th Anniversary Special on Sunday, and each of those start at 1 p.m. both days. So, like I said, we got the simulator games, not the submission games. And first up, we have From Dark Hell with Mythbusters, the game, Crazy Experiment Simulator. Dark Hell, take it away.
Okay, so this is going to be Mythbusters. So I've just sat on this menu for the past 10-15 minutes listening to this sick rock riff because I can't click new game, otherwise it almost crashes if I restart. So I'm going to sit here in this loading screen. It's going to take us a while. We're going to get to it. So this game is built up into like specific myths. You do all your myths. I'm lazy, so in the theme of this episode, I'm only doing 4 out of the like 10, I think, myths. Either way, the other myths are just what if we did the previous ones but big. So hit the any key. Now this says, hey, you're going to be a Mythbuster. You're going to bust myths. You get the deal. So time starts whenever I hit space here and I get past this weird menu in 3, 2, 1, go. So here's the myth board. I need to carefully click on Dr. Gerard. So we're going to go to our myth board. We're going to pick out the myth we want to do, and we're forced to do it. Now we're going to, this is how you design myths. If you don't know, like designing, you do fun little puzzles on blueprints, and then it works. I don't know. So fun puzzle next. Ooh, I'm actually really good at these puzzles. I'm very bad at these puzzles. So all of these puzzles are just like weird little sliding things like this. That goes there. I'm learning my shapes hold.
This is just the hacking minigame from BioShock.
Yeah. So, come on. The controls on these are also very finicky, which is very fun. Come on. Slide it around. So, there we go. So this one, you just connect it. You get it. I don't think I have to explain that to you. This one is... Hold on. Give it a minute. This one is a matchstick puzzle that I'm absolutely god-awful at, and I will not... Ooh. Never mind. I'm correct. So now, open the notebook. This is where the game tells us how to make myths. I don't care. I've done this game too much. So, review all the notebook pages. I don't read unless the game forces me to. So now, here we have our shop where we need to buy stuff. It's going to have a ton of stuff that we need. For some reason we have to buy it, even though it's sitting in tiles in our workshop, but shush. So we need a hammer. We're going to need 8 nails, and usually I buy the stuff I need for the future myths, but there's a ton of stuff, and this game has an inventory system. So first off, I'm gonna just buy a grenade. It's sitting there. It's live as far as I know. Don't ask. So go to the notebook. I don't care about the notebook. I want to make a grenade. So grenade. Now I can go into gamer mode, also known as disassembly mode, where I get a fun like red outline. And I can take stuff apart. So now we're in assembly mode. We're going to put it together. So now I need to move my wrench to my tool belt because this game has a weapon wheel. You'll see it in a second.
What is this music?
This is the radio. There's a radio in here. I can turn it off. I don't remember where it is.
That's great. That's fine.
So now, there we go. This wants me to read the notebook. I'm not about that. Earlier I bought a wood saw blade. So now we're going to assemble our miter saw. This, for reference, this is not how miter saws assemble, but that's okay. I'll let the game have it. So now, if you know what a miter saw is, don't take tips from this. Cutting things with miter saws is not like this. It's not a fun, like, well, I'm disappointed.
A fun
it's
little
not a fun
game.
timing game. Second, that's not how the blades on miter saws work. They don't always spin. If that wasn't apparent, fingers are notable for being sensitive to very fast, sharp things. So now, I forgot I didn't explain this myth because I was busy doing fun puzzles, but this myth that I'm supposed to test is whether or not, you can, basically how easily you can hide from a, like, grenade. So, we've made the grenade already. Now we need to make the little guy that hides from the grenade. Side note, yes, I do have to click in each of these nails that I hammer in. We're gonna make, I clicked on the wrong thing. I was gonna make a guy with a cowboy hat. Anyways, you get a guy surrendering, I guess. So now, hammer in all of these nails individually. We're gonna sit here, just click them all. We've made our little guy. So after this, we need to go to, like, the shooting range, because this game has fast travel. So, hold on. Ooh. Next. There we go. So now we can take our guy, and then we have a truck. This truck, if a thing sits in there for more than, like, a second, it is not subject to the laws of physics. Anyways, I can also save quit like that, and it will teleport me to the start of the map that I'm in. I had to save quit twice because this game is perfect, and I got stuck in a wall, so run it back. So now, since this myth is supposed to be, like, the tutorial one, it's going to guide me a lot and be like, hey, bro, check your notebook. But I don't need to do that, so I just flip through the pages. So one thing is, if you drop stuff onto the ground, the game has, like, an automatic trash collection service for some reason. So if that thing is on the ground for more than 30 seconds, it gets automatically deleted and goes somewhere. I don't know. It gets burned. I don't know. So when you have stuff that is, like, needed for your myth, you need to put it in these little marked safe zones. So now, there, safe zone. This thing is not subject to the laws of the cleaning crew, so goes there. Same with this barrel. So we need this barrel to cover up the grenade, and then we put the metal cover up to protect our little guy. And then I'm going to say volume warning because this is loud. And then it blows up. Our little guy is safe. We've successfully tested that myth. Actually, I don't know if it was busted or not. I don't know. Ooh, it appears I'm stuck again. Run it back. I'm stuck again. There we go.
It's a solid game.
Third tries the charm. So now, here's the extra mechanic. This game lets you, like, make your own episodes, and it'll try and teach me about it. I just don't listen. So here we get these little cards, and we can put in stuff and be like, oh, this is how I want the episode. So it's supposed to have... okay, yeah. It's supposed to have, like, a whole actual challenging process to it, but I just put the things in where they go, and I'm lazy. So now, Dr. Gerard, who I bought the, like, myth card for earlier, gives me a skill point, and then proving a myth gives me an extra skill point. Big ups, Joanne. So I get 2 skill points, which means I can actually buy a little guy. I can just buy an assistant. Ooh, okay, that's kind of depressing. There we go. I can just spec into having an assistant. Ooh, I totally know that. I totally knew that.
I actually did know that one.
I, like, totally knew that. Hold on. Run it back. This one's hard. That one was a hard one. So I can spec in... Yes.
I was gonna say, while you figure this out, I think so. I watched Dark Hell.
I've beefed this.
Learn this game, learn this game,
Send it.
Right? And I think my favorite thing about it was that the game just crashes sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it just does that. Anyways, I'm bad at this puzzle, and I don't really care to do it. So if you fail it enough times, they give you a skip button, and I'm bad. I'm gonna assume it's that. No, it's not. That one's a bit depressing. Anyways, it gives me the hint too, and I'm lazy. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. For a tip, you can easily solve puzzles by reading. So now, if we need to make Buster, we get to make a little guy. We get to, like, the little guy we had earlier, we're gonna make a big guy. So I'm gonna buy polypropylene granules, which I don't really know what they are. They're like plastic beads, I think. I'm going to buy some water for later use. And then I'm going to buy 12 large 12 large bottles. I'm going to buy a jerry can, 6 balloons, and then I'm going to buy, I think, 12 ropes. I don't know. I could be wrong. So now we're going to go to the pumping station. This is the process of making a little guy. So now we need to, because I didn't learn anything from the last myth, this game still very much handholds me. See, so if I want to do like anything ever, I have to actually like pull up the notebook. So now, and here's where we do math. I'm making ballistics gel, so now I need to go 10 plus 80 to 90, which should put me to about 90. And the game also tells me when I've done it. So now, go to page 6, as it so graciously tells me. I get to make a hand. I'm going to sit here, make a hand. I'm going to wait, because it takes time. I don't think it takes this short amount of time, but it takes time. So give it a minute. Okay, handmade. Now, I need to make a ballistic gel hand in order to progress. And you should not dare get ballistics gel in the polypropylene granules twisted. But I'm lazy, and making that ballistics gel took time. So the game lets me just make a ballistics gel dummy out of purely polypropylene granules. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to make a crap ton of limbs. I'm going to make a torso. Side note, female is misspelled there. You'll see it later. Make a foot. I'm going to make the pelvis out of goop. You'll see. Don't ask. For legal reasons, you'll figure out later. Pick up the torso. Make more limbs. Please don't take this out of context. I'm just a guy making limbs.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna look up what polypropylene granules are.
I just made another pelvis on accident. How could I have done this?
I think it's just plastic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So foot. We're not gonna. That pelvis is gonna stay in that bin because I don't need like anything else. So in the meantime, I'm gonna start. Oh wait, hold on. No, run it back. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need 15 steel rods, and then I need what the game calls screws. For reference, these are not screws, if you know what a screw is. But I don't know, man. This game really doesn't know what screws are, so whatever. So now, earlier when I was buying that saw blade, I actually bought a metal saw blade at the same time. I need to pull out my weapon wheel. There we go. So now, come here. I need to disassemble it so I can put the metal saw blade on. So we're going to sit here, click this, and then I remove the wood saw blade, and then I do the same thing in reverse. But now I put a metal blade on. Side note, this isn't how a metal miter saw blade works, just for reference. This is closer to a sanding disc, but okay. So now, that is the only extra time we're going to change that blade, because I'm lazy and that takes time. So I'm just going to keep sending these and cut these rods until I get 15. I'm bad. So if you cut in this perfect green line here, A, it gets harder in the future. B, each time you cut, ooh, I'm bad. You get like double the amount because somehow you cut it perfectly to where it works. I don't know. So now, make some more limbs. So now I have all of the parts required to make a little guy. So we're going to set him up on the table here. We're going to assemble his bones, let's say. I think I'll be nice and put his head on first. So put the air quotes screw in. For reasons, that is a bolt. You could literally hear it ratchet, but okay. Ratchet on the wrench. Anyways, screw. Next, put our ballistics gel hand. I was talking over it, so next time I put a ballistics gel piece in, I'll make sure to stop talking. But that did make a little goop noise for reference. So each time you put a ballistics gel thing down, it does make some goop. Hold on. Okay. There's your goop noise. And just for fun, I guess, they also I'm going to say goop on the table that you're working on as well, which is really nice. I'm a big fan of that. That really immerses me in the Mythbusters universe.
Mythbusters lore.
Yeah, I'm really immersed in the myth busting lore. Also, I'm gonna just keep making my limbs while I do this, because I can usually get 1 or 2 body parts mounted while I make another limb. I'm gonna request again, FBI, please don't. Stop listening. Plastic limb, screw it in, air quotes. Put our other steel rod in. I need to make 1 more limb. I actually might have wasted my polypropylene. Ooh, never mind. I'm like actually great at this game. So now put that on.
So what happens if you don't screw it in? Sorry, bolt it in.
Yeah, the game just doesn't let you make it. So like, if I just don't screw these in, it doesn't let me take my little guy. So I need my other limb. How could I have forgotten? His shins. How could I have done that? So in the bottom left, where it says delete assembled item, if I just wanted to delete this guy, it would actually it would basically just say pick up item or whatever, but it doesn't let me do that until I've done each individual bolt and have it work. So now, bolt. Side note, yes, it makes that goop noise whenever you drop it. Drop my little guy in there. He's going into the safety truck. Now, I need to make clay, because I didn't explain it because I was too busy making my guy. This myth is basically whether or not you can fly with balloons, which has been already tested, but that's okay. So 10, 20, we're gonna go a bit past 20 because I'm lazy. And then that math checks out. I can do math. Now I've made clay goop. Now I'm gonna put it into a jerry can, and while that jerry can is making, I need to go buy helium, actually, because I forgot to buy it. So take this, I'm gonna buy helium. Don't ask. There's a shortage, but I actually caused the shortage by having that many tanks. Don't ask. Also in the top right, if you see the big thing that says to buy a gun, we'll get to that. Don't ask. So now I just need to make a crap ton of helium balloons. I'm actually going to buy the other stuff first because I can't remember the amount I need off the top of my head. So next, start button, gun, and then I'm going to buy 20 bullets because I'm absolutely bad at my shots. So 20 bullets should be enough. Then I need to buy a chair because how else am I supposed to float, of course? So now, 8 air quotes portions of helium. To get a portion of helium, you put it into a bottle. And a large bottle is 3 portions. And make sure you're writing that down. That will be on the test at the end of this. So now, there we go. So now I just need 1 more bottle worth of 3 portions of helium.
What happens if you overfill it?
Here you go. I'll be kind. Let's see.
Cheers.
Here, helium. There you go.
Nice.
Cheers. Cheers. So now it wants me to make the frame for it. So I need 9 rectangular steel profile, and I need 2 wooden pipe pieces. You'll notice it wants 2 steel pipe pieces. That's steel rod. How could I have done that? But, hold on. I might be correct at this game. So it wants 2 steel. Never mind. Bad. It wants 2 steel. So when you cut something, you have the offcut and you have the thing you cut. It just kind of says 2. And my opinion is that length doesn't really matter in this game, because I have a fun timing puzzle to do. So come here, just spam click. This box is also a safety zone. So if stuff falls, I'm stuck in the doorway. There we go. So now we get to go to the rocket launch site. So we're going to sit here. It's going to load up the rocket launch site. Hold on. Yep. This is a very big desert for almost no reason, by the way. So now pick up our little guy. So now we're going to bring him to the safe zone, because otherwise the cleaning crew, I guess, I don't know, would pick up the gigantic dummy. So now we're going to put the chair in. We're going to attach the ballast we made. I don't care what side it's going on. I'm immediately removing it. You'll get a fun story with that. So attach all of our ropes to tie it down, because I guess. Slap our little ballistics gel dummy in here. Now we're going to add balloons. We're going to add 6 whole balloons. It is going to jump away from me each balloon I add. Why is it going that far? There we go. So now, add 6 balloons. We're almost there. We got 2 more balloons. It's going to keep jumping each time. So now, I need to, and I quote, prepare the starting position. So, this is where this game becomes an FPS, I promise. The gun I bought earlier comes back. So now, it wants us, we need to drop a ballast, because with how this mini game works, 5 balloons keeps you stable, and then a ballast counts as 5 balloons. So with 6, we would just kind of sit there. So now we can just go through this circle. This is how flying works, by the way. You do get fun circles in the air. Whip out the Glock, shoot the balloon up in the air, and then we're going to very slowly plateau, whip out the Glock again. Don't ask why I'm also a ballistics gel dummy. I might be bad. Never mind, I'm correct. Ooh, I'm almost perfect at this game. So now, bam. Myth busted, I think? I don't really know. I think that myth was proven. I think it would be anticlimactic if you busted a myth. So now, bam. We're going to make another episode. This one's because the category requires it. Because we're going to do 4 out of the however many myths. So let's just make the episodes for it. 3 skill point. I'm going to spec into having a slightly bigger backpack. It's not that useful, but anyways. So, this myth right here, an absolute banger. So, it's whether or not you can curve a speeding bullet. I am so going to beef this one.
Oh, so it wanted.
Never mind, I'm
right?
cracked. What?
They're doing wanted?
Yeah, so we're going to see... Ooh, actually, hold on. Ooh, perfect. So, if you can curve a bullet, I'm absolutely amazing at this. There's a chance I'm going to beef this one because I clicked in the wrong spot. Never mind. So, curve a speeding bullet, right? So we're going to shoot some ballistics gel so we can see where the bullet went, you know. Comma, but how would you curve a speeding bullet? So in Wanted, they just flick a gun really fast and it works. I don't really get it. I haven't watched the movie. I just have seen it. Like, seen the scene. So now I need to buy 10 screws. We're going to make a gun vise because we need something to hold the gun, because how else? So, ooh, gun vise, there we go. Gun vise, I need to go to my weapon wheel and select a wrench. You'll see why in a minute. So, come here, gun vise. Oop, it appears a part has gotten in my way. So now, bolt this down. Bolt. Again. 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 This is high octane gameplay if you haven't noticed. Now, bolt, bolt. Next. Another one. And somehow the gun vise parts that I buy are just called gun vise parts and they magically fit together. I feel like I just buy a box of things and it works. And I somehow get like a vise that can hold a gun. So now, come up here. It wants us to move
your local
up
hobby
here.
store, right?
Yeah, go. Yeah, buy a gun vise. So now we need to make an entire detonator. Don't ask. So I need 2 antennas. I need, and I quote, 7 electronics components. Just components. A spool of 3D printer filament. So, okay, that's fair. We might like print the casing for it, you know. I need a toggle switch. I need a key lock because you wouldn't want any old random guy just shooting it, you know, detonating. Buy some, and I quote, 1.5 volt batteries. They're double A's, but that's okay. I need 4 small screws. I need 1 big screw, 1 normally sized screw. I need 8 cans of paint. Cans, not like snippets, I don't know.
Jeez.
A smaller thing than cans. So we have our 3D printer, and this bad boy is choose through filament if you, for some reason. But we're going to make a small printed circuit board. So this is what circuit board design is like. It's like a fun logic puzzle. So I get to go back and figure out what I'm doing. It's probably incorrect.
Seems like if you have a electrics degree, I didn't go to college for this, but it seems like you have a degree. You could do really well in this speedrun.
Yeah, It's a shame that doesn't really apply. Am I like an idiot? Yes, I'm like an idiot. Never mind. So now, ooh, is there something I'm missing? Am I an idiot? Oh wait, the light isn't on. That would, yeah, okay, never mind. My bad.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I'm on top of it. So now we've printed that entire thing. Unrelatedly, the shape of it definitely requires support material. Let's not talk about that. So we're gonna take our red detonator casing. I'm gonna pick whatever buttons I click on. I don't care about the color. Ooh, I might be insanely good. I've got the flicks on this. We're going for the full red, like explosive design, I guess. Side note, each one of these things does require an entire can of paint. I don't get why. So I need that, and I'm gonna bring the gun vise to my weapon wheel for later use. We'll get back to that. So now, small screwdriver.
These are actually screws.
These are actually screws. The other ones are definitely bolts, but that's okay. So we're gonna put our 1.5 volt battery cell in, and then we're gonna put. I'm gonna spice it up. I'll put a blue cover on. Ooh, an extra blue cover. This is pure art is my passion here. So now I need to actually tighten that nut. So good job on them. Next, I need to make the twisted pipe stands. I glossed over this part because I was busy making a gun. But in order to curve the bullets, I need 4 of these. And I need 1 steel pipe piece. And I need a tripod. So, there we go. In order to curve the bullet, we're going to make it just go through a tube. And by the power of whatever, it's just going to turn. The bullet's going to go, oh, I'm going to hit something. And so it's going to spin, I guess. I don't know. So, there we go. So, wrong thing. Steel pipe. That's what I want. You can't fool me again. It's happened again already. Now, steel pipe, steel profile. So now, I should be able to make an entire twisted pipe stand. But you'll remember I spec'd into the assistant. So instead of cutting all of that material like the game wants me to, I'm just gonna have a little guy run back and forth and make it. Actually, I'm gonna run back and forth. He's gonna make it. So now I'm gonna chuck it onto the ground, have the guy make it. I'm gonna run to the truck. I need to make 9 of these. So run to the truck, chuck it in there, and then my little guy is done. He's already done making the thing. Now chuck it, have him make it. It costs like $100 to have him do it. I'm lazy. I don't care. Take my money. So now come back. Let's have this guy thing. Give me the pipe. Chuck it onto the ground. There's a 30-second time window each time I do that because the cleanup crew will magically come and destroy it off the face of this earth. So I need to make some more ballistics gel as well. I forgot because I need to shoot whatever I need to shoot. So we're gonna come here. I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna make some more ballistics gel because I'm getting tired of that. There's no like good order for this. 10. And then I need.
Gesundheit. You good?
Give it a minute. Okay. It's the gelatin. It gets me coughed up. So now make more gelatin.
Quick water break. Stay hydrated, you know?
Yeah. Stay water. Stay water. Yeah.
Stay water.
Like so crunch the numbers. 15 I'm at, so I need to go to like a bit past. There we go. There we go. So I need to make more. I'm just getting tired of that because I hate that minigame, so we're going to do that. So now, large bottle again. I need more goop because I'm making a cube, which is somehow bigger than an arm and a leg. So 15, and I need to go to like 95. Sit here. I feel like we can do this more precise, but that's okay. So now, there. Side note, I did just realize I left that like entire pelvis in there. That'll be fine, I guess. So now this. I need to make 5 more of these pipe stands. Come here. I'm going to make my goop first. My goop cube, as we say. Come here. Chuck it. Floor. Spend my 166 bucks. Side note, I do technically have budgets for these episodes in the top right, but it doesn't matter. So I can spend however much money I want. That's why I have an assistant. Come here, chuck it, floor, repeat. I have 2 more pipe stands to make once I do this run.
Wait, what happens if your budget goes negative? Do they just like get mad at you?
I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue. That's never happened to me ever.
So they just way over budget.
In my casual playthrough, I was bad, and that didn't even happen to me. Oh, did that escape the truck? No. Good. It cannot escape containment. That cannot happen. Now, chuck it. Again. Repeat. I have 1 more thing. Oh, uh-oh. This isn't going to work. We may have to do some reorganization. Uh-oh. Am I stuck on that now? What's going on? No, never mind. I'm just insanely good at organization and throwing things. Pick it up, send it. So now, we have, excuse you, get in. That's what I thought. Into your place. Perfect. So now I should have made everything. I have the detonator. Yeah, okay. So now save quit. The game doesn't really tell you anymore because I'm on the 3rd myth, so they've given up on hand-holding. So I went to the wrong place. Run it back. I need to go to the shooting range because I'm shooting, if you didn't get that much. So now, there we go. So now I have I have my safety box in here that I get to pack very tightly with all of these twisted pipe stands. That got stuck on my legs. Okay, then.
Oh, man, they make you take out all of it?
Yes, they... No holds bars. Detonator. That's the real myth-busting experience. So now I need to put my ballistics gel cube in as well, and I have to mount the gun vise. Mount the gun. I am going to load it. It will be loaded for the entire duration. I'm ruthless. Mount my goop cube. Then I'm gonna keep running laps with these bad boys, but if I can do this properly, you can juggle them. There we go. Got it. So jump or juggle these by just picking up, and then if you pick up something while you're holding it, it'll drop it. So I can just pick up and just kind of spam click at it and hope it works until it... Ooh. Yeah, almost. So now, throw it. Before the cleaning crew absolutely decimates this thing off the earth, throw it back. The cleanup crew is out here. They are ruthless. You can't... Everything has to be moved safely from point A to point B. There is no in-between setting things down. That's bad placement. Why did I put
moved that safely, ignoring the loaded gun on the range?
Yes, the loaded gun is not a safety violation. Who could get shot? I'm the only Mythbuster, really. Ooh, can I juggle 3? Let's see. No, sad days. I get to do 1 extra lap, I guess. So now, because these things don't like to vertically stack, I kind of just have to run around in my magic safety cube where the cleanup crew cannot dare to touch me. So, run back 1 last lap. There we go. Grab my magical twisted pipe stand. Now that I've finally set all of my stuff in the safety zone, where the cleanup crew cannot see it, I can finally start the experiment. So now, here's where we get to learn about how bullets really work. We're going to put a pipe stand in here, and I'm going to do this back from the back because I'm lazy, and this is a lot easier to solve the puzzle. So, come
here. Oh, it's a puzzle?
Yes, of course it is. Why would it not? What else would be in this game?
Of course.
A gunfight? That wouldn't bust many myths. So, twisted pipe stand, we're just going to keep sending it. If you've played any other game, this is just a light beam puzzle. Replace sub light beam in for bullet. So, hold on, spinning around. There we go. So, they make you make like 12 of these, but you can realistically solve it in like 12 or in 10, I think. Yeah, okay. That's how physics works. It's a line, if you didn't know that. So, come here. I need to make this turn. Come here. Next. Up here. Yeah, here should work. So now, that bullet is going to get in there. Last one, and then... There we go. So now, the Glock shoots, and then it goes, oh, there's a pipe, and so the bullet turns... And see, if you didn't hear the goop, it made a goop noise, which means I did my job. I solved the puzzle. So that myth is solved, I think. I don't know. Busted,
plausible?
proven. That myth, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna buy Dr. Gerard again. He's a real one. There's no reason for it. This is the final myth, so it doesn't really matter. This one, hard puzzle right here. This myth is basically what stuff can you make a rocket out of? So, my stuff of choice, because I'm lazy, is salami. So, we're gonna make a salami rocket. Let's once again, please don't take that one out of context. There's been a lot of goop. I'll accept goop, not salami. I'm just gonna beef this one so hard, unless you can scream the answer at me if you can beat me in this race. There we go. Yeah, sure. It appears the game has done it for you. Where's the other one?
The center of the 8.
Yeah. There we go. I can read. Okay. So now, there we go. So now, I don't need to make another detonator because I have a little guy that does it for me. So, I'm just going to come up here, make the thing, and then it works. So now, I get to buy 5 entire spools of filament, which, side note, if you know... Excuse you, I'm out of money? I see. That's what happens when you don't have enough money, as I just now learned. So I need to make another episode, so we're going to run it back. Let's come back here. Money. I want my numbers to go up, so let's put in as much money as possible. Yeah, there we go. Money acquired. That should be, like, enough money. You should be good. I have 12 grand. I think that'll work.
12 grand. Holy moly.
12 grand, and I just dropped one episode.
Yeah.
So now I need to buy 5 whole spools of filament. I need to buy 20 screws. A piezoelectric niter, which we've already bought, but I need to buy another one because I used it. I need to buy 8 small screws, and small is a actual metric size, I promise. So now I need 5 electronic components. Of course, I need the titular salami, and then I need steel pipe and some I-beams. So I need steel I-beams, should be right, and then I need 4. That's 5. 4. I'm gonna grab my detonator. It looks the exact same because that's how this works. So now I need to 3D print a metric ton of stuff. That's why I bought 5 entire spools of filament. Now, hold on. It's not the correct thing to cut, that is. Send it. Send it. Sorry, the cleanup crew is coming because my thing fell out with my little safety box, and they saw it, and so the safety crew, or the cleanup crew activated. I need to cut my steel I-beams. There we go. I need there. Ooh. There we go.
I like that there's no difference in the difficulty of the cut between like a steel pipe, which is pretty easy, and a steel I-beam, which is hard.
Yeah. You know, a steel I-beam, kind of big, not hollow like pipe.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to keep 3D printing a crap ton of stuff. We're going to come in here, do another fun logic puzzle. I need to do... This needs to be positive to make that. There we go. And then this can be a NAND. And then I can just... actually, that won't work. Yeah, well, insane. Circuit made. Genius acquired. So we're going to keep making more ailerons because we're making a rocket, so we need the little flappy things on the side. So now I need to buy saltpeter, which should be... Ooh, hold on. There we go. Saltpeter. And then I need sugar. For legal notice, please do not take any hints on this. In a minute, once I make more clay, I will be making rocket fuel. Don't write that down, please. Thank you. I'd like to not be responsible for that. First, we're gonna make clay, so you'll be safe for a minute. You can keep watching. 20 minutes, or
we can chat to close their eyes. They'll be all right.
Just close your eyes whenever you see me making rocket fuel. And then I need... There. That should be enough for clay, I think. I need to make, I think, more if I want to do a nozzle.
Yeah, salt, salami. That's how that works, right?
Now, we can make rocket fuel.
Yeah.
So please turn away. This rocket fuel will have salami in it, so eat it. Maybe you have a snack later, and you're like, finally. Right? Yeah. So now, in my little salami station over here, I'm gonna pick the star combustion profile. You can change the combustion profile, which, having looked at the code, changes something. I don't really know what it changes, but it technically does something, I think. I just don't care to know what it does. I'm more occupied with making the rocket. Speaking of making the rocket, nozzle. Here's, once again, don't write it down, how to make a rocket. I forgot to buy me some duct tape. You'll see why in a second. Don't ask. Don't ask. I'm making a rocket. There's duct tape. Just follow along, team. So now, metal rocket segment. This is the only screws, bolts that are on this. Ooh, I had the wrench selected, but okay. So come here. These are only going to be on it. So the only bolts on this bad boy. Now come here. More steel I-beam. The steel I-beam pieces I put from earlier. Put them on. One last one. And then all of the ailerons I made get to just get slapped right on here. They're not securely mounted now that I think about it. But it's fine. It's only a rocket. Like, I think a rocket could withstand this. So put my salami rocket stable in there. Yeah, it's a rocket. So now we're going to tape it together because I'm lazy and putting bolts in takes time. Now, equip the duct tape in the weapon wheel. Put in our metal control module. Slap the duct tape on that bad boy. Next, we need those small screws are coming in clutch. Now, small screws. Screw. Next. One more. There we go. And they want me to put like a top on it so that way it doesn't like... So that way the rocket control module doesn't like get air stuff in it or whatever. You know, explode. So, we're going to put on the top. I'm just going to put on the flat rocket tip. It's going to be held on by duct tape. So, it'll be fine. Duct tape is powerful. This is also a very aerodynamic rocket. That's why the tip of the rocket is just a flat circle. So now, there's one more thing I need to make. To come here. Because I absolutely do not remember any of the items required. We're going to buy 8 sections of 3-inch PVC pipe. I'm going to buy some more steel I-beams. Buy metal angle, which is over here. There we go. Now, you're going to hear an absolutely amazing noise in a second once I cut this. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Perfect. I like it. It's a great noise. Now, I think I've cut enough. I don't remember how much I needed to cut for that. I think I need more. Yeah, I do. I need 8. I beefed that. I was looking elsewhere. There we go. Now, cut my metal angle. I need... Ooh, if I can get this one perfect. Ooh, I'm absolutely insane at this game. Now, sad. This game has an achievement where if you cut 5 perfects in a row, you get the achievement. For another reason, yeah, it's awful. I didn't explain it yet because I was busy, but this game got an air quotes demo, not to be confused with Mythbusters, the game, the demo, unrelated. called Mythbusters: The First Experiment, which you also can no longer play. That you get that achievement, but this game has the skill system, so you can spec into a skill that makes the chop saw way better. But you can't spec into skills in the first experiment. So that achievement is you have to be borderline insane at this game to actually be able to do that. Pull up the weapon wheel. There we go. And I need to make this as well. Forgot. So I just cut the stuff for the metal rocket stand. So now metal rocket stand, and then I need to do that. I should just be able to make this and call it good. So time is going to end once I get back and make the final episode. But first I need to like put the rocket in its place. And just for you guys, I'm gonna come here. We can winch it down. This is somehow how it works. Like winch it around, spin it around, and then I can winch it down. So now the goal of this one is to actually get into that blue, like green circle right there. I'm gonna call that close enough. If I'm wrong, it's fine. So now we can launch the rocket. Perfect. That's my type of rocket right there. I've done it. Myth proven. Salami rocket made. Once again, we get to make an episode. Salami rocket made though. Now I'm gonna put Joanne. I'll be nice to Joanne. Myth plausible. And then I need to make the one last episode. This I beefed that one. Come here. Whoop. Whoop. Okay. Time. 3, 2, 1. Time. So now, and I didn't show this, I can check my mail. So I get fan mail. Weirdly enough, Discovery, you know, the company that owns the show, also sends me fan mail. So we get fun stuff. Thank you, Sylvia Williams. She sent me 2,500. I don't think that's how shows work. I don't think you can just Venmo the Mythbusters account and give them money, but that's okay. So this game gives you a ton more myths, as I'll show here. There we go. I'm lazy, and this is a lot of work, and they're all the same myth, except what if you do them more? So like this one is, what if you save 2 mock-ups from destruction with a grenade? And this one's, what if you power a car with a salami rocket? And this one's, you know that balloon thing? Yeah, you're gonna go through more hoops, so you're gonna need like 5 bajillion balloons, and you're gonna need another Glock. So get ready. So that's Mythbusters, a crazy experiment simulator, not to be confused with Mythbusters, the first experiment, of course. So this game, you can buy it for like $12 on Steam if you really want it. I feel like I haven't promoted it, judging by this, but it's a fun game to mess around with if you like that. You get this fun rock riff if you want. So I think that's it for me now. So onto, I think, B with Powerwash Simulator.
Yeah. I want to thank you once again, Darkel, for coming on, because you always somehow manage to find like the weirdest games imaginable. So
see, this game's great. I see no issue.
Oh yeah, this game is perfect. No notes. 10 out of 10.
No notes.
But plausible.
Yeah. Game plausible.
So yeah, check out Dark Hell. He's very smart, does a lot of code stuff. Notably for me, he decompiled Zoobinis at one point, which is great. I learned a lot. And yeah, Dark Hell, wonderful, wonderful person. All right. Couple quick announcements before we go to break. If you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, exclamation point links in chat for all things GDQ. And your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered help support Games Done Quick, both with HotFix and with GDQ 2023 costs. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy this content. So we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with Is Bullets with Powerwash Simulator. All right, y'all. Welcome back to AIMBOT. In what I assumed, I planned this as a simulator-themed episode, but someone said, "Hey, are all these games dad game themed?" So that's a new theme. This is dad game themes. Real quick before we get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you enjoy this. And if you want to see this live, go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you want to see everything live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, so B, we've got Powerwash Sim, but this isn't a traditional any percent run. What is good enough?
So good enough was a category that I decided to make because I did not want to sit down and wash a bunch of things. And there wasn't any short categories for this game that didn't involve just cleaning one thing and being done with it. And those were pretty short. So I wanted a nice little medium for it. And I am notably a very lazy person. So I wanted a category that really spoke to me, because speedrunning categories, they're all made up. You can make up whatever you want. So I decided to really express myself with this category, make a category where you clean 50% of the vehicle. You see there's a percentage in the top left. You clean 50% of whatever vehicle you're on, and then you give up and you move on to the next one. So you're kind of like the bargain budget option for people wanting their stuff power washed. So when people want it just kind of cleaned off, get the big stuff off of it and then move on. So we're doing our best out here. But that is the main idea of the category. This is an abridged version of actually what we'll be doing at GDQ 2023. So that'll be pretty fun. But there's a little taster of it. It'll be good. But I think that should be everything. Probably can just get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So we have equipped it with us, as you can see, this gigantic trident nozzle. And this is one of the last things you unlock in the game. There's an unlocking progression system where you can use money to buy stuff as you're going. So the nice thing about free play is we can just bring whatever we want. So we just bring this very ridiculously, very overpowered trident nozzle, and it allows us to kind of breeze through these levels. Even if you're fully clearing these with a trident, it doesn't take very long at all. So we're really just focusing on the main large areas of grime. And once we hit 50%, we just hit the menu pretty quickly. Menuing is a surprisingly large portion of optimizing this. And just figuring out kind of what angle to stand at and how to clean stuff off without wasting time maneuvering around. But yeah, these first few levels go very quickly. There's only a few levels that really stop you for any amount of time as we're going on. And it is surprisingly, even just waving your mouse around, just trying to get 50% of it done, you still will hear those dings, which mean that we've cleaned off an entire part of it. Even that front, we cleaned 60% of it by accident just because of how small it is. It's hard to just clean 50% for some of these. But all these first ones are pretty tiny and pretty good to do. I'm sure all these people are very happy with the work we're doing. I'm sure they're super impressed. Wow, this side of my vehicle is perfect. It's a shame the rest of it.
I was going to say, I'm looking forward to seeing the penny farthing at 50%, because that one is actually legitimately kind of hard to do.
It'll be a fun 5 seconds or so. It's surprisingly, you can, I've been training in this for years. So you get to see it right now. I've been training on this game for years now, despite it only being out in 2021. In early access. This game was also published by Square Enix, which is always a fun little fact that surprises people. This is one of the first ones you actually have to spend some time on and think about how you want to do it a little bit, because there's all these weird notches and angles for it, and you're really just aiming for the biggest trouble spots for this, because you don't want to spend too much time just waddling around trying to get to the next spot. I might have spent too much time up there. That's all right. We are getting paid a little bit of money for doing this, the tiniest amount. We started with 13,000. We're gonna end with 13,000 and slightly more cents. We surprisingly, this might shock you, but they're not super impressed with the work we're doing as we're going through. But yeah, this is another one that takes a hot second to get through. We do need to go to the top of it, and there's some fun jump tech you can do. I don't know if you want to explain that, since you know a decent amount about it as well, Amy.
Yeah, so any sloped surface in this game, if you run and sprint at it, it launches you into the air. And so that works on things like stairs, but it also works on things like this little nozzle right there, and the footstool. So instead of climbing like a ladder or the helpful things that the game provides for you, you can just jump up them.
Yeah, it's very, very helpful, especially with the stool there. You just can find like a lot of weird stuff to jump off. The van is another big one that you can just jump off of. That's in every single level.
Yep.
So a lot of fun things. The drill is really annoying to do fully because there's all these weird alcoves and little notches to it that take forever to get through. So it's very nice that you can just do one of these and we're good to go. It's fine.
So much easier than in co-op.
Yeah, well, imagine doing 50% in co-op. Just blink at something and it's all gone. But there's a little bit of like thinking about how you're pathing through the levels for 50% for larger levels like this one. You can see we're not just immediately melting everything. I have to kind of consider how you want to go around it because I am going to have to go to the top of it, but I want to make sure to get most of the stuff that I can only get from down here as I'm going around, so I don't have to double over. Sometimes you do, because you don't want to spend too much time cleaning one section, because it's a lot easier just to like wave your mouse around a section once and keep going if you can do that and still hit 50%. So you have to kind of pace yourself with it. You kind of get a feel for how much you need to do, because sometimes it's a bit deceptive with how much dirt is around. The last like 10% of dirt for these levels is always like the hardest ones, and as you get closer to that, it looks like it's pretty much clean. Oh. You can do this, I believe. There we go. There we go. It can be a little bit finicky with how you jump on it and bounce you off, but it's still a lot of fun to do. A lot of weird things you can jump up. There's a map that we won't be seeing since it is not a vehicle. Since there's places and vehicles in this game, and they're delineated between them, so we're only seeing the vehicle levels because they are significantly shorter. Even doing 50% for some of the areas would take me like 15-20 minutes. So like one of those places would probably be like longer than this entire category. So to save you all from having to watch me power wash things, it's just funny doing this category
the
because
subway station.
Yeah,
Ugh.
subway station. I enjoyed doing that the first time, but I've done it like 4 times since then, and
yeah, I think you helped me finish it on my casual playthrough.
I helped you finish it. I think I helped Joy finish it. I might have helped Big Law finish it as well. It's just so terrible to do on your own. This game, so we mentioned the co-op run that we're doing for GDQ. This game has up to 6 people co-op, and the funny fact about that you'll see during the GDQ run is a little foreshadowing. It doesn't handle very well having 6 people using the Trident nozzle, and part of the way we have to play around it basically. The fact that the game struggles a lot with it. But
the game desyncs really, really hard when you have 6 people flailing around.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. Monster truck, big favorite. The funny thing with full clearing this level is the tires are like the last thing you do. Even if you have like one person start on each tire, they will be the last people to finish because the tires just have so many like weird little ridges in them. Which means they account for a lot of the percentage because there's like a lot of weird dirt crammed in them, so I kind of focus on them, but thankfully you don't have to finish them. This might be one of the ones we don't like clean a single thing fully. We don't get to hear any dings, unfortunately. We might hear one. I don't know. There we go. Okay,
Ooh.
Never mind. I forgot about the face. And we're gonna go underneath and get a few things down here to finish it up. All right, we're starting to get to the last few now. The stunt plane, what we want to do with this is we're just kind of avoiding, there's these grease spots that are on the wings, and when you have to fully clean it, you have to spend a lot of time, even with the Trident, to slowly go through it. I think you're supposed to use soap, which is a like consumable thing you can use that really cleans really well. Depending on which soap you have, it cleans a certain material really well. We don't tend to use them. I don't use them in any of my runs. There's different categories separating those. So in this case, we're just avoiding it because it takes a while. So we have the fishing boat here. This is the longest level in any all vehicles run, no matter what the category is. Even for 50%, you have to clean a lot of this, or at least it feels like you have to clean a lot of this, because we're gonna clean most of the outside like decently well. I don't know. It's gonna go in the water again. I don't know that what we're doing really matters too much.
Yeah. What's astonishing to me is like, okay, so our we've run 6-player all vehicles a couple times, right? And the record is like 37 minutes. 7 of those minutes are spent on this boat.
Yes.
Like, this is a long level.
For sure. And that's like us. We're fairly coordinated with it. We kind of know what we need to do with it. We're doing pretty well with it, but it still takes a long time. And there's certain levels, even with 6 people coordinated, for like the actual like area levels that we don't we don't do in the all vehicle runs. Even with 6 people doing it, like I think they would still take I don't even know, for full completion. Like it would take like 15-20 minutes for just one of those areas, and then you'd have to do a lot of those. I don't know how much the temple would be with 6 people. I don't know. We should try that.
Yeah. I mean, we had like 4 or 5 people when I was doing the what is it, the subway station, and I think it still took us like an hour.
Yeah. We were definitely not trying to speed run it, but we were wanting to get it done. So we weren't not speedrunning it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big thing of this is just like there's a lot of long stretches here that you can get a decent bit of progress on, but with the Trident, you're missing a bunch of area just because by account of what it is, it's just these 3 long strands of water. And for this category, it doesn't matter as much. You don't have to go back through and clean it up, but for a large level like this, those do add up more and more as you're going on, and you do have to be a little bit more thorough sometimes and pace it out. The pacing for how much you're cleaning each area, so you don't clean like really fully clean one area and leave another one dirty when you get to 50% is kind of the big thing with this category that actually makes it interesting to run, are these longer levels where you're kind of thinking about, okay, do I need to move on from here? Do I need to be a little bit more thorough with this area? It is a very silly category, obviously. In the end, it is doing a terrible job. It is the opposite of what this game is about, which is being very thorough and taking your time and enjoying it. This is going very quickly and doing a terrible job. So it is the antithesis of this game. So if you don't like this speedrun, you'd probably like this game. But either way, we have another like 3%, and this is kind of where it gets a little annoying to figure out exactly where I want to get that from. Probably the guardrails, and pick up a few things here. There we go. All right, cool. We only have 1 level left. Just moving along. And this is just a normal RV that turns into a normal UFO. We're gonna go clean this off. Unfortunately, since we are doing 50%, we don't get to see the UFO take off once we finish. But if you can just imagine it, if you can just use your imagination once we finish this off. Time will be coming up when the counter in the top left hits 50%, but I will call it. But this is the last level. We're gonna start on the top and do an amazing job, as you can see. Just no dirt left behind at all. It's pristine.
This is also one of the really finicky levels to learn to run, because everything in this level has a really weird name.
Yeah.
And so for us to get like accurate at doing it, you just have to memorize them.
Yeah, if you look in the top left, if you read really quickly as I'm waving my... Oh, we're done.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, time.
Now I can hold my mouse. You can see there's some main gyromagnetic disc. You know, you've got chromionic radiation emitter. You know, normal stuff. It's just a normal UFO. It's fine. But yeah, so that's Powerwash Simulator 50%. There are a lot of people that do run like full categories. They run full levels 100%. We obviously are doing our GDQ run of all the vehicles 100%. But there's a lot of cool people in the community. They have a Discord where they answer questions and talk there. So everyone's very chill in the community. So feel free to pop in there. But this is just a fun game in general. It's really relaxed. Like I know this was not relaxing to watch, but it's honestly a super relaxing game to play. It's a lot of fun. I've just enjoyed playing it casually over the years, and now it's fully released. They've been working on it for year and a half. So it's a really fun time. So, but thank you, Amy, for having me on, and thank you everyone for hanging out and watching some power washing.
Of course. Yeah, and check out B's and mine and 4 other people's co-op run of 6-player Power Wash Sim at this upcoming GDQ.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's for them to figure out and for us to not.
We're cleaning all the vehicles so we get to watch the UFO takeoff.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're going to go to one last break today, and then we're going to come back with Epiphane running Satisfactory. Real quick before we go to a break, though, if you missed the Power Wash Sim, if you missed the Mythbusters run right before this, or if you missed the Legend of Zelda randomizer, the Wind Waker randomizer right before that, youtube.com/gamesdonequick to see all the content. It's usually uploaded about 48 to 72 hours afterwards. Check us out there. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. And yeah, we're going to a quick break, and then we're coming back with Satisfactory. All right, welcome back, y'all. Final run of the night in this simulator/dad game themed episode. Real quick before we get started, if you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, ! links and Twitch chat for all things GDQ. All right, Epiphany. Satisfactory. It seems like you've played this game a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been playing for about 2 years, but I only got into it speedrunning about a year ago. It's fun. And actually, speaking of that simulator thing, we actually renamed FPS to mean Factory Production Simulator. It's no longer a first-person shooter. Just wanted to be clear.
Yes.
And here I have with me Fourth Wind for emotional support. He's going to help while there's a lot of numbers in this game, and normally when I speedrun, I'm just mumbling the same numbers over and over. We're going to try to drown out that monotony with some actual nuanced discussion. Thank you, Fourth Wind.
Yep, happy to be here.
All right, so without further ado, I guess I'll explain a little bit about the game for anyone who doesn't know. It is a factory production simulator. We're going to be building a factory. But because we're not really taking an eye to aesthetics, which most Satisfactory players are doing, we're just going to build buildings wherever we can and produce as much as we can to get to the second phase of the game. There are 4 major milestones in the game. This one's called 2 package, which, as you can guess, is sending up the second package in the space elevator. We would normally do 4, but that takes about 26 hours. So we're going to kind of skip that one for today's stream. So I'm going to head up to skip intro here, and as soon as the loading screen ends, we'll be in the run. And there we go. So now that I'm in here, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm running around to a couple crash sites at the beginning. There are a few pieces of this planet where previous pioneers have met their demise, we'll say. And with them, they brought some parts, such as computers, cable, stuff that we'll need to build our factories. So I'm going to go collect their remains. It's all about the company here, and we're just trying to be productive here, no questions asked. While I'm doing this, I'm also trying to set up a factory hotbar as fast as I can. Menuing is the scourge of, it feels like, every speedrun game, because having to use your mouse is notoriously difficult. So what I'm trying to do is front load a lot of that by binding hotkeys to my numbers so that I can build the factory while I'm, without moving the mouse around a whole lot. I'm also trying to focus on picking up a lot of this biomass, doing an okay job of it, because we're going to burn all of it in order to power everything. We got one more crash site here where we're going to pick up stuff, and that will lead us to the iron that we will be using for the majority of the run. Pick up a little bit more material, and here we go. You can also hear behind me some unhappy residents of the planet. They actually don't like it when you colonize. There's a lot of arguably political things in this game, but we're just here once again supporting the company as best we can and being as productive as possible.
Yeah, so I actually have a question. How much did this route change with the introduction of Update 6? Because that changed a lot of stuff about the about the planet.
That's a great question. So the main thing that changed was the research trees, especially for this run. There's there's an item that we like to use called Blade Runners, which is effectively like a super suit. And what it does is it allows you to run faster and all that good stuff. In order to go through most of this run, we like to research that, and the requirements to research it changed with this update, and it actually got a little bit easier, a little bit faster. So we're going to be using an entirely different resource, quartz instead of Caterium. Other than that, a couple bugs led to items not being as accessible, which we might talk about in a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty similar, I'd say. So I'm going to place this down, fight some more bees. I'm trying to time these fights so that I get as close to dying as possible. You can see in my health bar, it's empty, but I'm not dead. All right, let's get all this iron.
I think one of the other things that are is different between Update 6 and Update 5 is that there's different shop prices. So buying stuff from the shop, some stuff costs less.
Yeah, that's actually
At some point.
that's a big one that improved the run. Is a lot of the basic materials that we buy for this. It turns out that because you could get other cool things like customization, people weren't actually buying the resources out of the shop. So in order to incentivize that, they made it a lot cheaper, which as speedrunners, we love that. I'm going to grab all this, and then I'm going to get to setting up concrete. So now I have the basic of my iron factory created, and I'm not actually going to change it for the majority of the run. Next, I want to set up concrete, and then after that, we'll be going to wire, which are the 3 main resources that we're trying to build a factory for. Oh, one spawned. No. Okay. Trying not to die today. All right, we're going to build one more miner up here, drop that down and power it.
Yeah, so those oak crops, they must be mined in order for you to actually place a miner on top of them. So Epiphany has to get to each of those deposits, mine the deposits, and then be able to actually place the miner on it for it actually to work.
That's one change with Update 6 that has been met with a little bit of controversy, because we used to be able to place that miner remotely and not fight the enemies that are guarding it. But now you have to go up and do a little bit more combat and risk death. I've died many times doing that. So now I'm going to make sure these are all going, set up one more smelter because we need to create a lot of iron over the next 10 minutes. And power that. And now I'm going to make 2 more power generators. My goal from here is to set up copper. I'm trying to get to field research so that I can research those blade runners we talked about, which are going to make me move really fast. Once I'm done with that, I will be... Oh, I'm a little bit low on iron rods. I will be setting up copper and going on a little bit of an adventure.
Oh, I just realized you didn't have to do the whole like hub disassembly at the start. Is that what skip intro does?
Skip intro does that, yes. So if you saw package percent at Summer Games Done Quick, I went through the intro. That's a requirement for that category only. But for all other categories, we can skip it. All right, so I'm gonna move on a little bit. Okay, that should be good. I'm gonna set up a couple more helper machines here, just to get things settled as quickly as possible. These machines, for the most part, are just going to be my whatever I need at the time constructors. Right now, I need more biomass, and I'm going to be making some screws. I'm going to have you do plates. Thank you very much. All right, and let's set some power lines down, and then I'm going to need a little bit more concrete before I go out there. One thing that's really fun about Satisfactory speedrunning, in my opinion, is that with most games, you're dealing with kind of a level-based speedrun, right? You go through level 1, you finish it as fast as possible, split there, level 2, etc. For Satisfactory, it's kind of all one continuous level of your categories. So the faster I set up things at the start, the faster I can get to things in phase 2, so on and so forth. But there's also a dark downside to that, which is there are a lot of times, and actually it's becoming a bit of a problem in this category, is when you get fast at certain resources, other resources become a bottleneck out of nowhere. So, for example, wire used to be the big problem, but we figured out how to solve that problem and make enough wire for the end of the run. And now we've gotten to a point where concrete is starting to become the bottleneck, meaning now that the run is going faster and we have our iron and wire all set up, concrete is actually starting to become the thing that stops us from getting good times. It's an interesting cyclical thing where it feels kind of like firefighting a little bit. It's like as soon as you get good at one part, now a different part of the run is falling apart. All right, so we're going to set these to do cable, and this is for wire. Thank you very much. We're going to ignore the enemies because they don't scare me. And maintain iron production.
Would using storage containers here be too? I assume it would take too much resources.
It would indeed. That's exactly why I don't do it a lot of time. We will be setting up storage containers in a little bit, but for now it is taking too much. I also like to put 200 screws in that constructor there because it's eventually... All right, let's make some more iron rods. I'm going to need, I think, 300 of these. Yeah, I only want to create 500 more screws, and so by putting 200 more in the output of that constructor, it's going to stop once the stack fills up, meaning it'll stop at 500, and I don't have to worry about overproduction. Which, again, when everything is relatively scarce, we don't really want to overproduce if we can help it. All right, so I'm going to turn in field research here, which is going to allow me to start researching blade runners. So we're going to go over here, set up a container for concrete. We will be setting up one more factory for that. Jump on the invisible belt, of course. And we forgot to make cable, so we're going to do that.
To ensure a greater chance of success during exploration, an upgraded tool belt has been provided, as well as
Of course, a good run has to have a power outage at some point, right?
It's well understood that it's not a valid run if you don't have a power outage.
To enable detection of specific objects.
All right, so we're going to make a couple more cable here, just enough to get moving. And now I'm going to head down here. Bring a power line with me so that I can turn on a miner. And then we're going to make our constructor. That's going to serve partly as a bridge. And now we're going to make our miner. So right here, I'm setting up a miner for quartz. All I need is about 70 quartz for the entire run. That'll give me what I need to research blade runners so I can run super fast. By the time that's done mining, hopefully I will have finished mining this limestone outcrop up here, which means that I'll be able to dismantle that and recreate the miner up on this limestone, which I will need more of. So we're going to get some biomass. Turns out having things to burn is a little bit difficult. I like to refer to update 5 as the glory days of biomass because it was very plentiful and freely available. Nowadays, you have to actually put some effort into getting wood off the ground. It's not bad, but got to put a little bit more time into the combustibles. All right, we're almost at 69. All right, just want to get that 72. Oh, don't want to dismantle that though. All right, pop that down, plug it in, and let's take it with us. Oh, I don't have enough iron. Let's fix that. Despite being an automation game, there's a lot of handcrafting. All right, there we go. I'm gonna set that up. Get back onto our concrete constructor. And now we're gonna head back up. That's the last we'll be down there. Next up is just researching quartz and getting part assembly, which is going to take a lot of iron. Oh, I pasted the wrong thing in there. One really nice quality of life thing that they did with this patch is they made it so that you don't have to open a machine to copy and paste. So you're noticing there that as I jump by machines, I'm pasting the settings into them. That does one really useful thing, which is, I don't need that many. There you go. What it does is it removes, even if you paste a recipe that's already in a machine into itself again, it removes all the inputs, and yeah, by removing all the inputs, you can, get all the iron ore and, or not ore, excuse me, ingots and rods out of the machine. So I'm going to build a couple more rods now. Make some cable so I can begin researching my quartz. And then I'm going to focus a little bit on just trying to produce the last of this stuff here if you want to fill a little bit of time for me. Thanks in advance. Got to do a lot of math.
Yeah, so working towards part assembly will require 200 cable, 200 iron rods, 500 screws, and 300 iron plates. So Epiphany will be trying to work towards getting those rods, those plates, but also making sure that the factory's running, making sure that power's online, making sure that buildings aren't yellow colored.
Like this one.
That one. Luckily, though, we do get a lot of wire from crash sites all around the place, so we'll be able to pick up some more wire later if wire becomes a bottleneck here. Wire will still be important to produce as well, but there's different ways to obtain it throughout the run.
Yeah, when we go on our adventure in a little bit, I'll be getting somewhere in the vicinity of 4,000 wire, which is good enough to go for a little bit of time. All right, so now speaking of those storage containers you mentioned, we're going to start building them. I don't have a ton of iron rods, but I should be able to make the rest that I need here. What I'm trying to do is make storage containers so that when I'm gone, it's going to be for about 15 to 20 minutes. These machines can continue producing. So I'm going to make one box for each of them. Normally when you play Satisfactory, you would also use things like conveyor belt mergers and splitters in order to not have to do this many machines, but this is a run where we don't get that milestone, so we're going to have to just do the worst logistic version ever.
Yeah, someone actually asked in chat, do mergers and splitters take too long to set up? So
they don't take too long to set up, but they cost too many resources to unlock. So yes, but not for the reason you'd think.
I think during U5 we tried doing logistics, but then we realized that the resources invested in the logistics just wasn't worth it.
All right, so I'm looking at my inventory right now. I have a lot of iron plates and not that many iron rods. So what I'm going to do here is, this is when we start improvising a little bit. I'm going to switch this over to iron rods. I'm going to say, okay, I have 131 in here, so that's actually looking fine. I'm going to convert you over to wire, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some ingots to fill that up with. Having a little bit of wire pre-produced here is going to be useful while we're gone. Let's see here. So yeah, we'll pop those in, make some more iron rods, and then we're going to just convert the rest of this wood into biomass. The scourge of all of my Satisfactory speedruns is that the power grid goes out while I'm gone, so we're going to try to avoid that today. Now we want to have both of these making iron rods. Drop this in so that we have maximum production, and let's go ahead and make the rest of our, do we have 500 yet? Great, thank you. We're at 138. Let's go ahead and work our way up to 200.
I only just now realized that you're dismantling things to see how many are in them. Like, oh my god, dude, I would need to think of some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. It's actually super useful for storage chests too. Like, see, I want to know how many cables I have. Boom, just take a look. Okay, so I have 160 cable. I'm gonna need a little bit more here. Looks like that's enough of all the iron materials though, so we're just gonna power down the last bit of cable ourselves. In fact, I might cheese a little bit with, no, I can't dismantle any constructors here. Except maybe this one. All right, thanks. And then I'm just gonna make the rest myself.
Yeah, so one thing to note is that it's faster to do it handcrafting than to have it in a building, but then again, you can only craft one recipe at one time.
Yep. Okay, so now we're about to go on our little adventure here. So I'm gonna take rotors and quartz. What I wanna do is dismantle those two. I'm gonna be taking them with me. I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Did I drop them all? I did. All right, so we're just gonna take them all with me. We're gonna fill up one last time on iron ingots before we go. Gotta keep that producing, and now we are on our way. So what I'm going to do for the next about 15 to 20 minutes is I'm going to run around the map and loot more of those crash sites. So the ones that I went to before, they were useful for setting up this initial factory. Now I'm looking for more expensive stuff. My tastes have become refined. And the reason we do this is actually for two parts. One is to get building materials. The other reason that we're going to be going around is to get a bunch of valuables like computers, supercomputers, stuff that I'm not going to be actually producing with during the run, but stuff that we can sell to the mighty fix-it gods, our bosses. They have a, I don't know, what is it, an employee rewards program, I guess? And if you sell them their own things back, they give you coupons.
Yeah, so at one point, Epiphany mentioned Blade Runners, which we will be getting shortly. The issue is we couldn't make them now because we don't have modular frames, which are needed to craft them. But we will obtain them at the first crash site, right?
Yep, so this first crash site that I'm going to is full of modular frames. We're going to get these 4 stacks, and then I'm going to drop down that MAM so I can continue researching. So we're going to do that. Blade Runners, make myself an equipment workshop, and we will wait for this to finish. Drop down here, and now we have the materials we need to build them. These are our pants. We are finally wearing pants. 18 minutes in, and it's pants percent. All right, so now I'm going to keep running. Notice that I'm just way faster. I think, what was it, Fourth Wind, like 10, 15 minutes. It's almost twice as fast to do this with pants on.
Yeah, I think it's twice as fast. You save about 10 minutes, maybe more.
Yeah, it used to be a lot harder to manage in Update 5 because you had to spend somewhere in the ballpark of, I want to say 20 minutes researching Blade Runners. Each of those milestones took like between 2 to 3 minutes on their own. So you had to factor it into that whole pre-route area. But now it's just a 3-second thing and we just slam it down. So running around here, yeah.
I assume Update 6 made it a lot easier because they actually split out your inventory so that you can wear multiple things.
For this category, it's not super important because we don't get a jetpack, but for packages 3 and 4, yeah, it's super nice.
That was so welcome. Like, when I logged in after Update 6, I was like, oh, this is great. This is everything I asked for.
Everything I wanted and more.
Yeah.
All right, so the theme of most of this run is there are enemies trying to keep us from stealing stuff, and we just run too fast to care. So you'll notice we're running by a lot of spitters here. Normally they're a bit of a fight, but not for me because I don't feel like fighting. There's also, I'd like to highlight some of the scenery. Up on the right, you'll see some bees. That's a little bee pod. It's just floating in the sky. Hi, bee pod. And then his buddies right here on the ground. So we're going to hop across this lake. It's important to stay out of the water as much as possible. Swimming is not very fast in this game, and it really bogs you down. But if you jump at the right time, dare I say frame perfect, you can kind of hop and skip across the water and maintain all of your running speed. So we're going to try and get a couple of those skips here if I'm lucky. There we go. That's a good one. If you listen really hard in the distance, you'll hear a couple of cats. I have, when I play, a mode called Arachnophobia mode on. Normally they're spiders. They're still scary as cats, but they're not as bad. And I'll be honest, I just don't like dealing with them either way. So it's the lesser of two evils.
I've personally been told that Epiphany wouldn't have done this run if there wasn't spiders. So.
I personally don't think the Arachnophobia mode even helps. I think they're worse as cats, in my opinion. And I'm not a big spider guy.
Yeah, I think the hitboxes are way worse as cats, and at least the noises aren't as disgusting as spiders.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is the sound. I have played Satisfactory with sound off before. We're also just going to run through some poison gas like it's no big deal. Nothing that a little bit of food can't fix. Yeah, I've played with sound off and it's not scary at all, but as soon as those cats or spiders start hissing at you, it's like, no thanks. So we're going to hop up here, do a little bit of parkour on the side of a rock. That's geometry. And we're going to run through a little bit more poison here. So notice that the spitters here in this area aren't actually trying to kill me. This is a fun change to the UI. It was not intended, but it came with update 6. The poison damages the spitters now, and so they get scared and run away, which, I mean, I'll take it. Not having to deal with them while they run away from the poison. All right, so we're going to fly by. We're going to go to our first of 2 real potential spider encounters. This is an interesting one. Sometimes the spider spawns and sometimes it doesn't. We're going to hope that it spawns through the floor this time, though. I don't hear a meow, so that's a good sign. Normally I would hear it by now, so we're going to grab some stuff. There's one other enemy guarding this. It's a alpha hog. Sometimes it's what we call a Johnny, which is a new version of the hog that came out this update that has a jetpack, and it launches at you like a missile. We're going to hope that we don't run into any of those, because that's kind of a die-on-sight situation. But it is entertaining to watch. All right, so we're now running through the most dangerous area of the game, the bamboo forest. Our route avoids most of the spiders that are cats that are gonna try and kill me, but there's still a couple of things that are trying to make sure I don't get through here. There are a lot of environmental pieces in this area that make it clear that you're not supposed to come here this early in the game. There's rocks that you have to blow up with dynamite. There's poison that you have to walk through with gas masks. But obviously we're speedrunners and we don't care. We just eat a bunch of food and power through it, because that's what you can do in real life. All right, running up here, we've got... Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we're about halfway through the run here. We're getting to another spot where rhinos are really dedicated to keeping us out. But with any luck, we won't take a lot of damage and we can get on out. Oh, that was easier than I thought it would be.
So how hard was it to like route this? I mean, because the map is fixed.
Yeah,
for people who didn't know. So how difficult was so you know where all the crash sites are, you know what's at all the crash sites. Are there any that are like just out of the way that would be nice to get or something like that?
Yeah, we have a map of all the crash sites, as well as a bunch of information about each of them, what it takes to open them. For example, in our runs where we do hard drives, we know what all the requirements are, as well as what items they have around them. That's all thanks to Fourthwind. He set up a data scraper of the game that just looked for all the items in the map and then made a nice little visual thing that we could use. It's changed a few times. I want to say that the core of the route has stayed the same, because this area, because probably it's the most dangerous, it's chock full of the best stuff. So usually our routes end up bringing us through some part of the red jungle here. But the specific sites that we've gone to have changed a little bit depending on what building materials we need. There we go. And what kind of hard drives we're trying to get. And there are subtle differences depending on which category you're trying to do as well. So we're going to go down here and we're going to do one of my favorite parts of the adventure. We're going to get right up here and take a leap of faith. Hopefully we don't die. All right, we're good. You can't actually die there as long as you're full health. The maximum fall damage you can take from any spot in the game is 9.5 hit points. So as long as you make sure you're healed up, you shouldn't be able to die there. Now, there are a lot of times I've been greedy with my money with my food, and I haven't filled up. And that's on me when I die, but fortunately we should have enough health items to not have any of those problems today. We're gonna go for a little swim, and we're heading out to what we like to call the Doggo Cave. There's there's 2 or 3 animals in this game that are not hostile. One of them is the lizard doggo, and it's everybody's favorite by far. You saw one running away. It's over there by the cliff. You can actually tame them, and they'll bring you stuff. Hi, doggo. But we're not here to make friends. We're here to steal items. All right, we're doing the one hard jump quest of this. Hopefully I don't fall off the cliff, and we are looking solid. Gonna hop right on up here and fill up our inventory on all this free stuff. Great. Take another big fall. Hopefully it won't kill us. All right. And we're gonna head on out. We've got about 3 crash sites left to loot. They'll get us a variety of things. The main items that we're looking for here, by the way, are we are looking for things that we can sell, like those heavy modular frames, as well as wire. And hi there. Okay. There we go. And we're looking for reinforced iron plates and modular frames, which we'll be turning into project parts. We're also looking for wire because we're going to need, I think, about 3,500 total just for researching the rest of the milestones in the game. Your average constructor makes about 30 a minute, so that's something like, what, an hour and a half just for wire, but we're going to try not to do that today.
I didn't even realize until you open your inventory, but man, inventory management on this run has to be a real struggle, especially because you're not researching any MAM upgrades for it, right?
Yep, that's right. There's one that uses that quartz that we were researching, but the amount of time it takes to make 200 extra quartz is, in my opinion, not worth it. We pretty much fill up the inventory here. I think that I'm going to get one more stack of wire. And then, yeah, we've optimized it to have pretty much exactly the amount of crash sites that you can fit in your inventory.
Also, luckily, you unlock 3 inventory slots when you do field research. So instead of having, I think, 27 inventory slots, you have 30.
That's what these extra 3 are from. Normally, you're at 3 rows, but that one extra research to get the Blade Runners helped us out. All right, moving along here, we are now in the second, I want to say, biome of the game. This is called the Rocky Desert. This is, of the 4 original spawn points, there's one called the Grasslands. It's great for beginners. There's this one, which is, I'd say it's a good mid-range area. It's got a lot of stuff, and you start to learn about the harder enemies of the game. And then we're heading now back to the, what is it called? The Northern Forest, fourth one? Yeah, I think it's called the Northern
Forest.
That's where most speedruns start for a couple of reasons. One is that there are a lot of really high quality nodes that you can do, as well as crash sites that you can get. So that those 2 that I got at the very start of the run, those are only available in like the Northern Forest. So you can really get a head start there. There are also a lot of nodes close together. So that area that I started is pretty much the de facto starting point for all categories of speedruns, regardless of how far you're trying to get into the game. It's also a pretty dangerous area.
Funnily enough, we did start out in the Rocky Desert in Update 5, and then we swapped over to Northern Forest after realizing just how good the Northern Forest is.
Yep. This used to be a Rocky Desert start. I think that the world record around that time was about an hour and 45 minutes, I want to say. Okay, I want to get these. They're actually computers, but they look like circuit boards. But then, yeah, Fourth Wind had to go and ruin it by pointing out, hey, if we start in the Northern Forest, this run can be about an hour faster. So you have Fourth Wind to thank for that one, too.
I think it was mostly a group effort, but we were able to figure out the niche and update the route such that I think we changed the route slightly, but it basically has the same route for when you're using your Blade Runners.
Yep.
To get the crash sites.
Yep, so we're going to run along the arch here. Heading back, you can see our storage chest that we made earlier in the distance. We're going to try and drop our stuff in there, and then we're going to use a pretty clever trick that I'm a big fan of. Normally, you'd think you have to climb back up. There's our stuff way up there on top of the cliff. Normally, you'd think you have to climb up on the cliff to get your stuff back up there because you lose everything when you die. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to store all our things in these boxes, and then we're just going to respawn with nothing on us. So run out here. Voila, it's like I was never dead in the first place. Gonna dismantle those boxes. There we go. I'm gonna take that and then I'm gonna actually store everything except for the Blade Runners. And then I'm gonna take the rest in the other box here. I'm gonna take that and that. We're going to now convert some of this to iron rods because we're a little bit low on those, but not too bad. All right, and then we're gonna go turn in the resource sync bonus program. Looks like I need a couple more iron rods. That should do it. Great. Let's go turn in resource sync bonus program. So this is when we're gonna start selling all of our stuff back to fix it. What we do is we slam that down and then we say, great, Here's a bunch of expensive things. So computers, heavy modular frames, motors, all this good stuff. We're going to put our motors on this side because they're less valuable. And then I'm going to make myself an awesome sink.
Parts into the awesome resource sink, depending on their amount and complexity, will grant you coupons.
Okay, that's not what I meant to do, but it's what happened. So there we go.
Examples of bonus content are parts, walls, factory attachments, and cosmetics. Fix it as
This is actually a new innovation that I like to bring to runs where I get stuck on geometry in the game.
Uh-oh.
Sneak first peek at it. There we go. So we're going to jump back on here. We're going to climb up. We're going to try not to clip on the cliff side. And we're doing just fine. Gonna make this one more time. And let's start dropping our stuff in here, our valuables. Okay, great.
Whoa. Hang on. Is there a hotkey to put all of something?
If you hold shift when you
Control
click.
click?
What?
Or maybe control. It might be control.
That might be shift.
I think shift is for all of one stack to just instantly move it, and then control is to move all of one type. So we're both right.
Oh my god.
All right, so I'm gonna grab some cable here. The next thing that I wanna do once I'm done with this is I'm gonna want to get my screws. Where are you, screws? Where are my screws? Oh, I didn't pick up screws. All right, we're gonna divert a little bit here. Gotta make 200 screws. Once we make our awesome shop here, we'll use those coupons that we're donating over here to buy the rest of the things that we'll need for the run. So one of the great things about selling things back is that instead of producing things, you'd think this is a factory game, you need to produce items. No, we just buy them. So I'm gonna get up to 200 here, and then I will build my shop, which will allow me to build, or excuse me, to purchase all of the high level items that I'll need for the rest of the run. 90, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna store some of this because I don't need it all. Build our awesome shop, take out my coupons. I only needed 39. Oh, I actually need 39. So in the meantime, I'm gonna need some of those. We're gonna just work out our inventory a little bit here. Great. Okay, let's grab all that. Good stuff, and then we're gonna need a lot of biomass. Okay, there's our 39. Perfect. So we want 10 orders and 3 orders. 10 of rotor, 3 of reinforced iron plate. I don't need that much wire. I need 5 and maybe 1,000. So we're gonna take all those, and then all of that should be good. Let's swap out there. Okay. So now we want to do one other thing before we get started producing the actual objective of the run. We want to build a lot of power. Turns out producing a lot of stuff isn't easy. All right, what do I have? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 2 more. 11. So
so each of those biomass burners will support 2 assemblers each, and you're planning on putting down 22 assemblers?
Yep, that's right. And what I'm doing right now is I don't actually have the biomass to fill them all up. So what I'm doing is I'm scavenging a little bit, and I'm also not putting in a full stack of biomass to each of these. I'm trying to put in about 100, which will last me 10 minutes. But I only need about 5 minutes to get this started, so I'm probably going to try and aim for another 150. Maybe I'll go to 200 so it's easier to split. And once I get those started, I can get creating that smart plating. So we're going to drop that, and then there we go. We've bought ourselves about 5 minutes. Should be enough here. And then we get to building assemblers. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're trying to make 22 of these. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I think I needed one more. 22. Perfect. All right, let's plug them all in. I'm taking this moment to also count in my head just to make sure I built the right amount of assemblers. Okay, great. Let's plug them into the grid and we will get started.
Yeah, so for each of these, Epiphany is going to be putting 25 rotors and 25 reinforced iron plates into each one of these. That'll make about 550 smart plating, and that'll be enough for both package 1 and package 2. And then, of course, once smart plating does get done, these assemblers can be repurposed for the other parts for package 2.
Yep. Here I did a lot of inventory management in advance here, kind of as part of doing the other pieces of the run. The idea is I want to have the right amount of materials that I can, rather than holding right click. So you can hold right click to reorganize items and split them into a custom amount, or you can just right click once in order to automatically split a pile in half. So what I did was I made sure that I had the right amount of materials that I could just right click split each of these. Okay, and then this should be our last one. Let's drop that in. Great, and then this is an extra. Okay, I can toss out the extra 12 here. So this is that hold right click thing I was talking about. Toss that out. And now we have about 12 minutes before we're done with the milestone. So our next goal is to build the space elevator. So I put the space elevator on my to-do list. That way I know exactly what I need. Looks like I have enough iron materials, which is fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and get producing wire. Believe it or not, despite picking up 4,000, we actually don't have enough to finish the run. We got to make about 2,000 more. I think something copied wrong. Yep. There are a couple bugs with update 6 when it comes to copying and pasting things, but on the whole it makes things faster, so I'm not going to complain. Okay, our awesome
So at this point,
awesome shop should be done. I'm just going to go ahead and grab these coupons and then you can go ahead forth. Oh, it's not done.
at this point, iron production is basically done, right?
Yeah, pretty much. As well as the power grid.
Also, one thing, there were 17 computers from the first crash sites that we grabbed. So making sure that those are in there before taking down the resource sink is sometimes important if you're aiming for all the tickets that you can get.
You only say that because I forget every other time.
Well, probably in the hub, probably.
I think that's the empty one. Yep. There's another one empty somewhere, but we don't have time to go find it. So I'm going to just make a new one. Just kidding. I'm going to have to go find it. It's probably out near the start. One of my original biomass burners.
Yeah, the nice thing about biomass burners is that you can place down more if you end up losing one, but then when you want to place one down, you end up not having the resources for it. And of course, your factory isn't producing, so you can't produce the parts for another biomass burner.
Yep. All right, so we're going to try and make some biomass to head off all the other power problems we're going to have. This is kind of the I don't want the power grid to fail anymore part of the run. Unfortunately, we didn't get it right in time, but we didn't lose too much time from that. So I'm going to go get some more wood so that we can just create a buttload of biomass. The good news is I know exactly how many biomass burners I have. It's, what's 11 plus 4? 15. So as long as I have 15 stacks of biomass and I can fill them all up, they'll last for 20 minutes. And I know that this run's going to be done in less than 20 minutes. So I just want to fill them all up, and then hopefully I'll never have an issue again. Hello, Hog. Trying to focus mostly on getting wood here, because wood is something like 8 times more efficient than leaves, even though it's a little bit harder to find. You got to know where to look. Okay, that should be good. 250 wood is usually enough.
Yeah, I think it's 4 wood to 20 biomass. So 1,250.
Yep. So each wood is worth 5 biomass, and then and then it's like 2 leaves to 1. So I guess that's 10 times more efficient, actually. Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and looks like based on this, we should be able to make another 1,000 biomass, which should be enough to carry us through the rest. Love piles of wood. There are a lot of things that Satisfactory has in common with Settlers of Catan in that way. I will also say speedrunning Satisfactory is a very relaxing experience when you can just sit here and let the workbench do its thing. You just sit there and listen to the pleasant dinking. All right, we're done. Okay.
Honestly, this is making me want to try it out, I'm going to be completely honest.
Well, you should. We have a lot of people joining every day, and we had somebody start and do package percent yesterday. It's a good time. Everyone's really supportive, and it's got the competitive flair, but everyone's also super important of super supportive of one another. So good vibes as a community goes. All right, so that should hopefully get us going for the rest of the run here. Let's make sure that we're good on concrete. That is, like I mentioned before, a little bit of a bottleneck these days. So I'm gonna try and head that off a little bit early here by putting concrete in that one. There, have some ingots. Okay, great. And then dismantle that. Great. We just want to get the last concrete. Should be enough in here. Yep. We're going to try not to fall to our deaths. All right, very good. And then let's go ahead and get some of that wire that we've been saving. 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to take some of this smart plating. I do have to make 550 by the end of the run, but for now I only need 50. 50 smart plating will get me the first package, the first milestone of the game, and it'll allow me to unlock steel production. As you might have guessed, steel production doesn't mean we're producing steel, it just means we're buying it. But you have to unlock the milestone before you can do that. So we're going to seal it, we're going to send, and that would be the end of a package percent run, but we're not doing a package percent. Let's go ahead and do 2. Take a quick look. We got about 7 minutes. 14 reinforced iron plates at 2 per minute means that there's 7 minutes of production left to go. We're going to unlock basic steel production here. That is, if I can. Where are you? There you are. And there you go. Great.
Milestone.
What we're going to do with that is we're going to buy steel beams, pipes, and more modular frames. We're going to hit enter to skip Ada's text, not for any particular reason, but because it's in the way. All right. Now for the next fun part of this, I'm going to try to clear out my inventory. And, oh, hey, speaking of that, that's okay. I actually think I can set this back up. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Unless I can't find a power pole. There you go. Okay. In the meantime, I am going to get started on some material. I don't even know how I would describe it. How would you describe it, Fourth Wind? What I'm about to do with the stacks?
You are going to organize them into storage chests by quantity, as opposed to. So you just bought 3,000 versatile frameworks from the shop, and basically instead of throwing all of them into a single storage unit to clutter up the inventory, we're actually going to be putting 40 modular frames and then 280 or 480 steel beams. Sorry, you bought steel beams into each of these storage chests. That way, once the smart plating is done, you can dismantle each storage chest individually, and then you're able to split off the 480 steel beams into 4 120s, and that way each storage chest will be able to be put into 4 different assemblers, which is much easier to do than having 3,000 steel beams and 250 modular frames in your inventory.
Yep, so it's all about that right click kind of stuff that I was talking about before. So I want to be able to right click and split all of these stacks in half here. Let's see, what's going on here? I think I need 2. Yeah, I need 40 and then I need 480. The idea is I want to be able to split off all of those stacks just by right clicking them and be able to put an even amount in each of my 22 assemblers. Do I have my last coupon? There it is. That's what I'm missing. Great. So now we can go, we have to actually build a couple modular frames ourselves. We have to make 12. I also don't need my Xeno Zapper. I don't intend to fight anything. Oh, but let's look at the stats while we wait. Doesn't do very much damage. Actually, it's a pretty bad weapon now that I look at it. All right. We can toss that out. We don't need the space. Great. So 360, 360, 360. We're looking at 480. I want to have everything in multiples of 12 here. Or I guess I should say a multiple of 120. So that needs 20. And I think I'm looking at needing another 200 steel beams, and I bet that those are in here. They are. So I'm going to take those out. I just must not have had inventory space. I'm going to grab all this so I don't have to worry about it later, and we are going to get back a little bit to wire and cable production. I mentioned that we have to produce a lot of this, and so I'm going to be converting most of my factory at this point into cable and wire, solely cable and wire production. That way I'll have all of the cable that I need by the end. So I'm going to drop in this, that. I'm going to turn you into a cable maker. Cable maker, I said.
Yeah, so the auto wire takes 2,000 cable. So the 2,000 is basically where we're aiming for.
Yep.
If we get more, we can maybe use it.
How are we looking here? We got about 2 minutes left before it's time to switch everything. Let's go ahead and actually we will... I think I got the right one. No, I didn't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab on to this modular frame and steel beam thing so I can just hold on to it for later. I'm also going to need a couple more of these. Actually, I might have enough iron rods. But I'll store those just to be safe. Let's get a little bit more cable producing here, or excuse me, concrete producing, because that will be a problem. Let's drop that in. Okay, great. And I think that we're probably nearing our time to start converting over to the next project part, the versatile frameworks. Let's see. Oh, that's still got 2 minutes left in it. That's because I started at the other side, didn't I? Yeah, okay, good. So we're looking at 1 more minute. What should I do with this time, actually? I've never really been this on top of it before. It's a strange feeling. Maybe I'll just produce some cable myself. Yeah, we're about 20 seconds away now. That's probably enough time. Yep. All right. So we're going to wait, and I'm going to be doing a lot of number mumbling. So if you want to talk about something interesting, go right ahead.
Yeah. One thing to note is that when Epiphany puts these in, you can either click them in or you can use the number keys to actually put them in. Luckily, if there's inputs that you have in your inventory for certain buildings, you can press the number keys 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the respective slot in your inventory, it'll put it in to the assembly, which is very nice if you don't want to be clicking on every single one and you just want to put whatever you have into your machines. This will be helpful for the space elevator. I know people love to mash their keys when they're trying to put the final parts into the space elevator to send it away immediately.
I had honestly completely forgotten that the earlier packages were relatively this few materials. I was like, oh man, he's like 40 minutes into the run and hasn't sent up anything yet. This is gonna take forever. I forgot the first one's like 50 smart plating, and then the second one's like, not that much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is rather nice. The 50 smart plating was sent.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't mean anything since he has the 500 on him. So that 50 means it's very small compared to what he has on him right
We're
now.
going to check this using that same trick. I have 500 smart plating, and that's the first piece of our space elevator that we need to submit. My next goal is just to make sure that I have enough iron rods for everything. I also have 1200 cable. I'm going to need a little bit more, actually. That's much less than I expected.
So versatile framework should be being made right now. We're waiting 30 seconds for the next milestone to be researched. And once we turn that in, that'll allow us to make the last of the 3 materials that we'll need. Of course, we're still gonna need a lot of cable to make those parts, but we are also bottlenecked by the milestone not being researched.
All right, so we're going to come back in right on time and turn in advanced steel production. Forgot that I needed to get those steel pipes. And there we go. That's the last milestone we'll need for the game. Gonna buy some stators, and speaking of being low on wire, I'm gonna buy a little bit more.
Larger storage container, enhanced conveyor belt efficiency, as well as the ability to store excess power for later use.
And that was all the tickets used, so we'll never see the shop ever again. Although it might be dismantled if we need to use the resources for something.
Do a category that's just clean up everything after you before you finish.
Well, it is nice it is nice to look at after the run to see what you've done, but at the same point, cleaning it up for all those resources because there's a lot of wire in the biomass burners that can be used for the space elevator. Iron rods, iron plates are also stored in those biomass burners.
Okay, what I want to do is I want to get to 4 stacks of 200 here. That'll put me about 400 shy of what I need, but it's enough to get started. I also have to wait until all the assemblers are done producing their versatile frameworks, so I'm not in the biggest hurry in the world, but it would be nice to not have to worry about this later. I also don't need these reinforced iron plates. All right, that should be good. How are we doing on time? Looks like we're just about there, actually. Let's go ahead and drop off this wire and 6 of the cable. Okay, great. These are still working. We're looking for yellow beacons here. Those are going to take a little bit longer because I put a couple more modular frames in them. I think that, yeah, we're just going to wait a second for it all to wrap up. There we go.
Are there any points at which you could like feasibly grab a power slug to make any of this faster? Or is it just not worth it?
For this run, I don't think so. The power grid actually gets drained a lot faster when you use power slugs, so you'd have to add more biomass burners when it's probably cheaper to just make more assemblers. This number of 22, there's might be room to put more, but I like this number because it's really easy to balance all the materials to fit in all the machines pretty effectively. Oop, stopped that one a little bit early. And actually, we'll just give those to you in the meantime. Okay, great. So we have a couple more that are waiting to start. What I'm going to do with this time is I'm going to split up the remaining stator stacks, and then I'm going to go ahead and get some more cable if I can. Looks like we got 100, about 140. It looks like almost enough cable here.
I've said this before. This is just genuinely so impressive that you can keep all this in your head.
There's a lot of math going on. There are a lot of runs where I've had to pull out the calculator in the middle of the run. So I'm going to toss in another 240 here, actually, to speed up the process a little bit, just because some of these machines are a little bit slower going. Looks like those are almost done. There we go. Perfect. And this is when I'm starting to wish that I had more cable, but we can fix that problem kind of quickly by dismantling these bad boys. Thank you very much. As well as these 2 containers should hopefully give us more to work with. Yeah, 200 more. Ain't nothing to sniff at. 5 and 80. I actually need another 10. 4 and 80. There we go. 4 and...
Yeah, so destroying those constructors gave 8 cable each, along with whatever it was making. So if it was making cable, it'd give cable and the 8 that were inside of it. These assemblers, if needed, also have cable to them. So if we needed to get rid of a assembler in order to make it up with some cable in the end of it, we can do that. There is a fun glitch where you can attach power poles to each other using wire, and then if you select all of the power poles and delete them, you will actually get twice as much cable, because it'll consider the cable to be a part of both power poles that it's attached to, which sometimes this run uses, sometimes we don't have the time to try it out.
Yep, I'm going to interrupt a little bit. We're coming up on the end here. I'm going to just submit the parts that I have finished, and then I'm going to hover a mass dismantle over the rest of the assemblers. Just a heads up for the timer. As soon as that lever goes back down to send, once I've sealed it and sent it, as soon as it hits the bottom, that will be time. So let me hover all those. I'm looking at that automated wiring number once again with the mass dismantle, and once it hits 100, I know I'll be good to go. So now we wait. Shouldn't take more than hopefully 20 seconds. But of course, nothing's perfect. Oh, there's 98, 99, and 100. Drop them all in using that hotkey. And we are at time. There we go. Half the game finished. Not really, but it feels like it. For anyone that hasn't played Satisfactory, we're probably about halfway done with the tutorial part of the game. There's a lot more to it, and some say that once you finish the 3rd milestone is when the game actually starts, but for the sake of everyone's sanity, we're not going to go that far tonight.
Yet. Yeah, dude, this is incredible. Thank you so much for showing this off.
Yeah, of course. Let's see if we can find a doggo, actually. I don't know if there's one around here. I might have scared it off all the factory noises, but guess we'll just get one of those.
There might be one at the pond.
Yeah, I don't know where I'll get a paleberry for it, though. They're kind of far away. Oh, well.
They are.
So I've been looking around in the Satisfactory Discord a little bit, but is that the best place to go if people want to learn this run or package percent?
Yes, actually, we have channels to talk about all the different categories. We have package percent 2, 3, and 4, where you can talk about routes. We've discussed like personal bests, all that stuff, sharing tips and strategies. It's a great place to go just for general Satisfactory questions too. Turns out speedrunners figure out lots of ways to play a game more conveniently. We find all the keyboard shortcuts. We find all the cool movement tech you can do. I'd highly recommend, even if you're not necessarily trying to speedrun, but you still have a passing interest, go check it out. It'll be great. We'd love to have you.
Also, someone's mentioning in chat, what's your PB?
My PB, so my PB is 5840.
Oh my god,
or
you were
46.
Like 26 seconds.
Yeah, this was actually really close. It wasn't quite a PB. And I haven't submitted that personal best to speedrun.com. So according to that, this is a world record, but we didn't quite break it today. We were very close though. It felt pretty clean. Normally I have more power issues. That's what it comes down to, is how many times your power grid fails.
Yeah, incredible. Well, again, thank you so much for, coming on to show this off, and hope to, see you again soon with maybe 3 package. Because that's like, what, 6 hours, right? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think we got it to just under 6 hours in update 5. Haven't yet routed it for this update, but it should probably be around the same.
Perfect. All right. Thank you again, and to everyone who ran tonight and to everyone watching. That's it for tonight. AIMBOT is closing the doors, but we'll be back again in 2 weeks. Got some interesting stuff planned then. As we end out today, if you missed the Satisfactory run, if you want to go back and rewatch that truly, really amazing display of skill. If you want to see the Powerwash, the Mythbusters, the Wind Waker randomizer from earlier, youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick to check that out. Subscribe to that channel. Videos come out pretty regularly with a lot of content. And not much else to say. AGDQ 2023 online, January 8th to the 15th. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be helping out in the studio and looking forward to everything coming out. And the schedule coming out comes out this weekend, I think. I should know. I'm helping make it. I'm definitely on top of it. And tune in tomorrow for Mercy Kill and Never Before Seen, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you all there.